Let's go!
Hey guys, weather's beautiful out here in Florida. It's like 85 degrees. Sorry if you guys are up north and it sucks or it's snowing, but it's pretty much summer here. So I'm gonna do this vlog number 6 outside. So excuse any dog noises, baby noises, car noises, bird noises. Those are bound to happen. Today's subject is one that I get asked about a lot, and I think it's super relevant because I know a lot of people struggle with this issue. It's about relationships and your eating disorder. Many people are curious. They ask me, Eric, did your wife know about your binge eating disorder? And I kept it a secret from my wife the first few months we were together. And to give you a little bit of background, when we first started dating, I was working a job, and this will be triggers is going to be a big topic that I'm going to address down the line, because I know we all are unique little snowflakes and we all have different things that trigger us in different ways. But stress is one of my biggest triggers, and I was working a job that was sucking my soul from my body, and just I had a boss. I knew he drove a BMW X7. Okay, that was his car. My stomach, when I saw that car in the parking lot, my stomach would tie up into knots. I was not scared of physical harm, but I was scared of this. For some reason, I was a much different guy. I'll put it to you that way. I let this dude intimidate me. I let this dude control me. I let him talk down to me, and it was a shit job. I was working as a personal trainer at UFit, making horrible money. Working crazy hours, going in on Sundays, and having to do all this shit, and it was a terrible job. We've all had terrible jobs, cry me a river, but stress is a huge trigger of mine. It was a very stressful work environment, and it stressed me out, and I fell back into a binge eating hole right around the time, and keep in mind, I met my wife shortly after the end of my contest prep. I ended my contest prep in November of 2010. I met my wife in March of 2011, or February of 2011, near the end of that month. So I didn't have that much time, really. I was not recovered by any means. I lost a few pounds here or there because that was always what I did. I would just yo-yo. I'd get back on the wagon. And we talked about this with the failure topic. You're gonna hit some good streaks. I had a couple months where I was doing good, and I got the job as a personal trainer, and I was feeling good about it, and it just eventually something rears its ugly head, like stress or maybe loneliness or something like that, and you are back to square one. So I was binging, and I told my wife about my binge eating disorder I think the day after my last binge in 2011. Now you're gonna say, Eric, didn't you say you didn't consider yourself fully recovered until 2014, 2015? Yes, that's true, because I felt like I had a dysfunctional relationship with food until that time. I wasn't suffering from binge eating disorder, but I wasn't comfortable. I wasn't comfortable considering myself fully recovered, if that makes any sense. And we'll touch on that later. There's a huge difference, guys, between having a dysfunctional relationship with food and having a eating disorder. A huge difference, okay? So my last binge happens. I tell my wife, and she, of course, is completely understanding, because she's my wife and we're soulmates. We were meant to be, and I love her more than life itself, and it was fine. But going back, I guess it was easier for me to do because I knew I loved her. I'd fallen in love with her, and it was very easy for me to come clean with her. But keep in mind, I'd been suffering from binge eating disorder, even though I didn't even know it was binge eating disorder, for, at that point, around 11 years, and I had been through one long-term relationship, a couple, short relationships, and I had kept it hidden. There were times, I remember with my first long-term relationship, I remember this was during a time where I was having cheat days, or I called them refeeds. I didn't even call them cheat days because I was diluting myself. I woke up at about 6 a.m. Why? Because I was excited to binge. I didn't know I was going to binge. But that's why I was so excited. I couldn't sleep. I poured myself a bowl of cereal, and one bowl of cereal turned into two bowls of cereal turned into three, and some protein bars, and so on and so forth, and sandwiches. And the rest of the day, I'm like, well, fuck it, we're just gonna go ham. But the fact is, she wasn't even, I started my day off, and as soon as she woke up, I stopped eating because I didn't want to do it around her. Same thing when she would go to sleep, or same thing when she would go to work. I couldn't wait. Even when I was with Kelsey and my wife now, if we were on, like, I'd go over to her house, and we'd hang out, and then I would come back here, I'd binge. People don't realize that just because you're happy with one aspect of your life does not mean you're going to be free of something like a binge eating, an eating disorder, or any type of thing. You can still be upset from other aspects of your life. Until you achieve that true balance, like I like to think I have now, you're going to have triggers. And I was triggered by that job because I knew I had to go back to that job the next morning. And that stress and that anxiety just forced me over the edge every time. And of course I didn't want to tell her about it. I know you guys don't want to tell, and that's the point of this story now. You don't want to tell anybody about it. You don't want to tell your friends. You don't want to tell your parents. You don't want to tell maybe your siblings. You definitely don't want to tell, just some stranger on the internet. Actually, that tends to happen a lot. You guys seem to be comfortable with me. I'm not sure why, but that's what I'm here for, right? But you guys seem to be very forthcoming with me. All the DMs, all the emails, all the messages. They've been great, awesome. I love it, and I love that you guys can open up with me. But the fact is, I can only do so much. I'm not a therapist, first off. And second, I'm one guy. Since I started this series, I receive at least one direct message per day, sometimes multiple ones, about this series. And some of them just straight up ask me for help, and I cannot give that to you. But you know who can give that to you? If you can't afford, first of all, therapists. Therapists can help you. We've talked about that ad nauseum. That is my number one. That's your first step. But let's say if you're already in therapy and you want to add on, you want to supplement the therapy with something. Because therapy for most people like me was only once a week. That's not a lot of time. 1 hour a week is not a lot of time. Maybe therapy is too expensive. Maybe there's no good therapists around you. Reach out, guys. I know this shit's embarrassing. I know it is, man. I was fucking embarrassed by it for 10 years. That's why we do it in secret. We're not proud of it. We're not. That's why all this, all these fucking 10K challenges and all this stuff makes me sick. Anyways, don't let me get off on a tangent, guys. Reel me in. Here's what I'm saying. I understand the shame that comes with binging or bulimia or anorexia. I get it. You don't want to tell anybody. You want to keep it your secret, but I've said it before and I will say it again. You cannot beat this on your own. You cannot. This is a mental disorder, guys. A psychological disorder. Okay? You don't try to beat it on your own. Do not let pride get in the way of your recovery. Reach out to somebody you trust. I wish I would have done it. My recovery would have been, if I would have reached out to somebody, one of my friends, maybe one of my girlfriends at the time, they would have understood it, I think. And if the person you reach out to doesn't understand it, or maybe they diminish it, trivialize it, fuck them. You don't need them in your life. If somebody cannot take the fact that you have an eating disorder seriously, they are not worth your time, okay? And I'm not going to start giving relationship advice out here, but if your significant other can't sit down and listen to you talk about your fucking eating disorder, you have a problem. The writing is on the wall there. Reach out. The help is there, guys. The help is there. It might not be therapy. You might not have that access to for whatever reason, or maybe you want more help. Reach out. Have it sit down. I know it's going to be hard. Guys. Reach out and talk to your girlfriend or boyfriend, your husband, your wife, your soulmate, your life partner, one of your best friends. One of your friends. Just talk to them. Confide in them. I know that loneliness was a big trigger of mine. And I know that if I would have surrounded myself with people, I wouldn't have binged. And I know that's kind of counter. We want to be alone. We want to get away from these people, so we do binge. But that's not the right way to think about it. We don't want to get away from people. We want to surround ourselves with these people, talk to them. And when you feel like you're going to binge, don't trivialize this shit, man. This is a problem. It's like an alcoholic. If you're an alcoholic, or if you're out with a recovering alcoholic and they're your friend, and they say, "Oh, I feel like drinking right now," what are you gonna do? You're gonna tell them, here's a, whatever, dude, fucking have one beer. No. You're going to help them. You're going to be compassionate. You're going to talk to them and convince them that it is not worth it. Just like if you tell your friend, hey man, I feel like I'm going to, we talked about that binging. I feel like I'm really nervous. I got to go binge. They should open their mind or their ears, sit down and just have a nice conversation and just chill you out. And until it passes. Essentially, have somebody talk you off that ledge. Have somebody there who is available, that understands and that loves you and that appreciates you and that knows you're struggling. Cliff notes here. Tell people you are struggling. Tell people you're having a rough time, man. Because for people like me, I can see the writing on the wall. I can see when people are having a hard time, but maybe your mom or dad or your sister, your brother, your significant other, maybe they can't see that. Maybe they don't see the signs like we do, Maybe they have no idea. My family had no idea I was struggling. Zero. Because I wouldn't let them in because I was too proud. I wanted to try to beat it myself. And I wasted 10 fucking years. So, if you're sick of dealing with this shit, if you want to hit the fast forward button, get help. Get help professionally and also get help from your friends and your family because they are there. They should be there for you, and in the community too. Guys. One of the reasons I started these videos so we could all talk together, okay? And hopefully you can communicate with each other, and not just me because I am only one guy. You can start talking to each other and understand that we're not alone here. Recovered, struggling, it doesn't matter. You are not alone. We have all been there, and we're just getting started here. You've gotten the sanitized version of my story so far. But I promise you guys that I'm going to let you in. And it's not because I want to glamorize this or make it sound cool, like these fucking mukbangs or these 10K challenges. Just understand, I take this very seriously, okay? And this is one of the few situations where I can tell you where I fucked up during my recovery. I fucked up and I wasted time, and it was because I was too proud and I was scared. So my point is, do not be scared. Reach out, ask for help. The more help you can get, the better. And the quicker, hopefully, the easier your recovery will be. I think that's it. Cue the birds. Thank you guys for watching. This ended up being a little bit longer than I expected, but I know it's a big topic. As always, hit me in the comments. Ask me any more questions you want answered that I didn't touch on here. And I rambled a while, so but that's it. Once again, guys, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time. Until then, stay strong. Let's go!